Hello and welcome to episode 49 of PubShorts. Come together right now. Hi, Tony.
Hey, KK, how you doing?
I'm doing great. So let's introduce ourselves. My name is Dr. KK. I'm the Innovation Officer at Trinka and Inago. And Tony, you can
I'm
introduce.
Tony O'Rourke, and I'm VP for Partnerships here at Inago, and I look after our relationship mostly with publishers, but I also work increasingly with research organisations and universities around the world.
Right. And Tony, would you explain where our audience, our listeners can listen or watch PubShorts?
Yeah, sure. All the episodes of PubShorts are available on the PubShorts channel on YouTube, so please press like and share with your friends and send us your comments. This is episode 49, so the previous 48 episodes should already be available on our YouTube channel. And you can also get links and clips to these episodes via LinkedIn.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. So, Tony, why are we calling this? This is the most outrageous, obvious reference to a song so far in PubShorts. So, why are we doing it?
Well, yeah, it's a call to action, isn't it? Really, I mean, it's wanting there to be a response from the scientific and the academic community to what's happening in the US at the moment.
All right, so let's get right into the story itself. So this is the title of an opinion piece or editorial piece published in Science magazine, the journal. So its title "Come Together Right Now." So referring to obviously the song "Come Together" of from Abbey Road, Beatles' ninth studio album. So very famous, the best bass
It's
line
not
ever, right?
it's ninth. Okay,
Yeah,
I think
the
there's a difference of opinion whether it's ninth in the US and 11th in the UK or vice versa. There seems to be extra albums that have been slotted in different countries.
and you agree that it's one of the best bass lines ever.
Oh, it's probably one of the top five baseline introductions of any song ever. Yes, no question.
Okay, so this editorial from Science is a call for unity among scientists. It critiques the chaotic impact of political interference in science, particularly under the Trump administration. We have talked about it a lot, Tony. It's authored by the chief of editor Holden Thorpe of Science Journals and highlights issues such as conflicting information, firings, and diverse rhetoric. Now,
Mm.
the call to action, as you said, is that it urges researchers to band together and defend evidence based inquiry. I cannot but as in more support more such initiatives. I am a big a proponent of evidence based medicine, coming from the medicine field myself, and I'm so happy to see such, I don't know, even titles which are moving, which have a obvious music reference, which are very context, which are very relevant in the field or the environment that we live in right now. What are your thoughts, Tony?
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I mean, what's happening in the US, in my mind, could almost be perceived as an existential threat to the future of global research between the US and other countries. So unless researchers do band together and their voices are heard, I do fear for the future of research in the US.
Right. In a related story, we have a Retraction Watch exclusive. It is titled US Federal Research Integrity Teams Take Hits with Departures. So I think,
Yeah.
again, Tony, we have talked about this. So the departures that we are talking about are the NSF's Office of Inspector General and
Yeah.
other leaders from what is ORI? I forget it. Okay, Office of Research Integrity. And so many such uh, institutions have seen people leave. Some of these are voluntary, some of these are based on executive directives and everything, cost
Yeah.
cutting and all of that.
Yeah.
So the problem with such, I guess, people who are not working with such offices or anymore is that they have played a crucial role in maintaining scientific integrity so far, right? And they also were in charge of accountability of federal spending in the context of research. Now, without them, I'm worried about the research integrity. We already have a lot of problems with research integrity in the context of publications and everything. And would this have a negative impact? And isn't this more of a reason to focus on automation ensure research integrity, Tony?
Well, two things. You're absolutely right. The research integrity is absolutely fundamental. You know, there is a an inherent lack of trust at the moment between the academic community and the general population. And by taking away measures like this, by taking away measures that will verify the veracity
Mm-hmm.
of research, just undermines research and undermines the opinion of research in the user's mind. So what's going to happen organizations like, oh, we're producing tools that will help researchers and help publishers to sort of manage the monitor and manage the research integrity of their content, checking tools, Inago reports, those sorts of tools. Um, and there's almost it's almost like there's going to be like a parallel systems going on. There'll be something happening in the global market, in the global community, and there'll be something else going on in the US. And I do fear for the kind of that relationship just breaking down.
And Tony, would you also agree that we have a technical check suite called Inago Reports, which also covers a lot of research integrity related aspects. We are also building more features and things that you can use in terms of research integrity checking. And
Yeah,
there's a lot of demand in the market. Publishers all want this more automated tools to flag issues related to research
and
integrity.
why do they want them? They want them because they want their readers to trust the content that they're presenting to them.
Mm-hmm.
You take away offices that manage research integrity, or you take away funding, or you take away the people that manage that process. It just puts a question mark over it.
And similar aspects are relevant in the context of preprint and screening as well. You would agree?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's so important now more than ever to have the tools available to them, like in Argo reports, to be able to do that, to be able to do that kind of screening.
Right. Great. So, in a related story, CDC staff, the title is CDC staff prohibited from co-authoring papers with WHO personnel. Now, that's unfortunate, but it is a directive apparently from the Trump administration's policy. So, this guidance is now being seen as Orwellian, like 1984. I hope it's one of your favorite novels, Tony. And
It's not one of my favourite novels, but of course, as a British school child, I think every school child had to read it when we were at school.
Right. So the apart from obviously this being in effect in the future, but past papers may also need withdrawal or author removal. Now that's crazy, a little crazy. And Trump withdrew the U.S. from WHO on inauguration day. That's another thing concerning. I mean that these kind of things keep on happening.
Yeah,
So all of this means things are even worse in terms of life sciences research and medical research and everything, right, Tony? I mean, we provide so many clients with services, and many of the clients are going to be affected, even researchers as well as the institutions that
yeah.
work with us in
We-
Inago.
That's why we have a business called Inago Life Sciences within the group, and their roles is to help mostly pharmaceutical organisations, but also some government departments as well, organisations in terms of communicating healthcare and healthcare outcomes. We will put white papers or research articles or whatever it might be. So the breakdown of these sorts of relationships between CDC, World Health Organization, puts into question, whether the same approach that might work for a reader, a researcher in Europe, can be used in exactly the same way to the same researcher in the US. How do you sort of differentiate between those two markets? So it's a really worrying time.
Yeah, if you're interested in knowing more about Inago Life Sciences, just search for us on the web and you'll find all sorts of information, including
Yeah,
assistance for literature reviews, systematic reviews, and any sort of writing, editorial assistance that you might have for your life sciences or medical research.
yeah,
And the next article that it is from the Council of Science Editor, Science Editor blog. Tony, we've been discussing several articles from this. I think it's a very good source for, and this comes through from James Butcher's Journalogy. All these articles that I've
yeah,
picked up. So this one is a feature article titled "Looking Ahead." The research nexus and the state of metadata, scholarly metadata in 2050. We have talked about metadata. So the main points of the articles are the article is that metadata is crucial for discovery, citation, and trust in research, and persistent identifiers like ORCID or ORCID and RORIDs are also important. Then the research nexus that is being talked about describes a complex relationships in research, because all of these are linked to each other, Tony, and Crossref is in the middle of all of this
yeah,
in managing research metadata.
yeah,
And eventually, because of the increasing volumes, the scholarly record is likely to expand beyond whatever traditional means of scholarly communication like papers, etc. And the
yeah,
future of metadata is to capture diverse research outputs and relationships, and machine learning and other AI technologies and innovations will help identify relationships in metadata without us doing anything, and thus improve quality.
Yeah.
But there is a need for globalization and language diversity in such systems as well, so that they can all talk to each other. And
Yeah.
finally, we are also talking about open data and inclusive governance. So, I mean, this gives me a wonderful future, then a bright, prosperous future in terms of research integrity in the next maybe 25 years.
And the person who's written this article, one of the people who's written this article, Ed Pence, is the founding director of Crossref. Crossref is responsible for probably one of the most important innovations in academic publishing. It won an award earlier this year
Mm-hmm.
as sort of a global recognition award. I think we talked about it,
Yeah.
for the service it's provided to for academic research. The fact most users now take for granted the fact that even if you read an academic article, you browse a reference list,
Mm-hmm.
you'll see a list of linkable references. Those linkable references hide what's called a DOI, a digital object identifier,
Mm-hmm.
and those DOIs are stored and managed by Crossref. That's where you're clicking to the Crossref link is
Mm-hmm.
effectively giving you the link to that full text article that a millennial just takes for granted.
Mm-hmm.
30 years ago didn't even exist.
Right.
You had to physically find the article unless publishers had what we call bilateral agreements with each other.
Right.
So, and now, the fact that they're thinking about putting measures in place that will provide persistent identifiers for other types of metadata,
Mm-hmm.
I think is fantastic. And good metadata aids discovery, and that's what, at the end of the day, what publishers want is for their content to be read,
Mm-hmm.
and researchers want the content to be read. So anything that will help make that content discoverable with good persistent identifiers, PIDs, can only help that objective.
Yeah, and even some of the products that we have built, including the citation finder and the Inago Read platform where you can discover related articles, these are built on indexes, in the sense we refer to indexes such as those provided by Crossref and OpenAlex, so that the best papers related to, in the context of Inago Read and related papers, you just have to upload a research paper that you're interested in deep reading, and the platform Inago Read will show you suggestions on other papers that you can read, thus enriching your reading experience. And this is all because of things like, or institutions like Crossref and the infrastructure they have created with
Yeah,
accurate metadata. So it's very,
absolutely. Yeah.
very important for it to have, and I'm very thankful for organizations like Crossref that uphold the quality of all of this. So
Ordinarily important organization
yeah,
in this sector.
and we are in the space of metadata in the next news article. It is from Upstream, force11.org. It's a new thing that I just recently became aware of. It is titled The Collaborative Metadata Enrichment Task Force, which is abbreviated as COMET, releases their community call to action. So this is sort of related to whatever we just talked about. So I'll just read out my points. They're seeking resources. The COMET is seeking resources like funding, expertise, and infrastructure. Their goal is to enhance persistent identifier metadata. So what is COMET? It is a collaborative effort formed in 2024, that in October 2024, that is. And the aim is to make metadata enrichment a community driven process. And so that is important in the sense there is a staff or a bunch of people who are paid to enrich metadata. That's one thing. But if you involve the community, like there are so many open platforms and discussion from open science is built on the fact that community can provide feedback. If that is there also, then things will be even better. That is a thing, that point being discussed. And some of the initiatives include in-kind contributions and financial support. There is a call for enriched metadata and pilot partnerships, and the deadline for contributions is the 1st of May 2025. So if somebody is interested in contributing or volunteering, please get in touch with them. And Tony, I mean, I'm you know me. I think that metadata strengthening or improvement of the quality of metadata is one of the single most important things in terms of improving the academic publishing infrastructure. So such
Yeah,
initiatives should be lauded. What are your thoughts on this?
I've got nothing more to add. I completely agree. Anything that will enhance the value and usability of metadata has got to be encouraged.
Right. Okay, I'm moving on to the next article, which is a news source. I think, Tony, we should keep an eye on. It's
Yeah,
robotscooking.com. Very interesting article.
right.
I think these are AI generated images, if I'm not mistaken. And anyway, so this article is titled Embracing AI's Evolution, the Rise of Personalized Software in Scholarly Publishing. I think the last episode we talked about, we talked in a Scholarly Kitchen article about the means of communication in scholarly or academia need to be more modern in terms of getting in touch with the millennials and Gen Z. So maybe it is something related to that. So let me just read out my points, Tony. The rise of personalized software is transforming how we use technology. Every software is one way or the other customized for you, as in the user, and scholarly publishing could see a big change with AI driven systems. And the good news is that AI can make such developments faster and more efficient. So the main thrust of the article is that there is more potential for tailored publishing platforms. For it offered, it offers opportunities for as well as challenges in terms of publishers, but publishers need to adapt to it. And there is something called as the expert-driven development, which basically I think takes into account what a specific high-level expert requires for a product to be customized for themselves and taking feedback from it. And eventually, the final take home message is that AI could reduce reliance on traditional monolithic platforms. So, calling for a change, AI based change, personalized software. I'll let you talk about all of this.
Yeah, I suppose I'm a little bit surprised at this article, really, and that's we as an organisation, one of the things we're known for, KK,
Yeah.
in terms of certainly in terms of our AI tools, is the fact our tools are personalised, our tools are customised, but we've pretty much been personalised from the start.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that the different approaches that we use in terms of building ours and knowledge bases allows us to customise our services. So that it's more directly usable and directly reflects the kind of workflows that a content producer has.
Mm-hmm.
Every publisher, every research organization has a slightly modified workflow, and you don't want to change that workflow just to fit a square peg into a round hole, is the expression.
Right.
You want to modify it. You want to modify that tool so it reflects and improves on the efficiency of that existing workflow. So, and we do that in our Go reports tool, our technical checking tools. We can do that within our language tools. I was talking to a publisher recently, for example, who had very specific, very, very important about the voice of the article, how the voice that was being used in any given article. And they were expressing it much more strongly than any other publisher I'd spoken to, because they felt that was one of the things that made them unique, the voice of the article, the way it was being presented to the researcher. So I'm glad to see that this is being considered as a way ahead in terms of expert development. But I'm surprised, that others aren't already using this.
Well, I think this is what we do is personalization, bespoke solutions for all other clients that we work with, partnering with organizations and publishers and everything. I think this goes to the user level, the super user level. Maybe that's one of the things that is different. And Tony, if suppose somebody is interested, if you're watching this and you're from a publisher and you're interested in developing customized solution for your workflows in the context of academic publishing, please reach out to us. You can find
please, just contact me, tonyo@inago.com, and I'll be happy to respond.
And if you want to know more about what we are working on, please check out inago.com/publishers, and you'll find all sorts of information regarding, for example, the AI peer review assistant that we are working on, the screening tools, the research integrity related innovation that we are currently working on. Everything is available there. We would love to work with you. So, Tony, moving on to the last main story we have, it is a story from Cassini. Cassini has integrated with ScholarOne to deliver seminars on journals at scale. So could you explain to somebody who is not familiar with Cassini what it is?
It's a platform for research seminars. It's very simple, but basically what it is, it's recognition of the fact that research seminars are an important part of the research communication process. It's not just about the written articles, but how you communicate that article to a community and the discussions that take place. So Cassini exists to provide a platform, a common platform for these seminars. And by integrating it with ScholarOne, it means that it can become part of that sort of super article, that super extended article process of it not just being words on a page. It can be words on a page, video, graphics, seminars, anything else that the publisher or the producer wants to create. So it's just giving a common platform for research seminars.
Right. And the other thing, I think if you haven't mentioned it, Cassini provides digital object identifiers for these webinars.
Yes, exactly. That's kind of the thing that makes it stand out. Again, using that crossref thing again, that by giving a unique persistent identifier to a research seminar, it means that and cite it more easily than you could before.
Right. So this means that seamless seminar delivery is available for all the journals in on Scholar One that use Scholar One, as well as it automates many of the steps involved in seminar invitations, recording, and publishing. Basically,
Yeah,
making the entire experience seamless, especially from a publisher point of view. So another very interesting development. I think such things would facilitate overall the quality of and the connected nature of information in the context of scholarly
yeah.
communication.
You know,
So
and we talked in a previous episode of I think in the last episode, KK, about how users are researchers are consuming data,
mhm,
and that the PDF was that the historical
mhm.
method, and why the PDF existed. And this is showing today that the researcher needs more than just words on a page. They need to have a much more immersive experience.
Why, right. What a wonderful segue, Tony, because the next story is. Wait, I should probably use this. This next story is
Ah,
about PDF. It is titled, it's another science editor article. It is Advancing PDF in Scholarly Publications. So, whatever you talked about is a perfect segue. So, PDF, Tony, became the preferred format for scientific publications in the 1990s.
yeah,
And in 2007, Adobe handed over PDF to an ISO committee, making it an open standard. Now, despite all these advancements or whatever, we are still, you would agree that in the last episode when we had a conversation about PDF, we were sort of, at least I was stuck in the older world of PDFs not being so easy for machines to read and everything. So these are myths, because PDF 2.0 introduced new features like mandatory font data and math ML 3.0 support, and ISO standards like PDF /A ensure PDFs are suitable for archiving and accessibility, and we need these. PDFs
yeah.
need to be machine readable and accessible for making solutions, right? For especially when you're talking about AI automation and everything. So, what are your thoughts? I mean, we should there be a more of a sort of a campaign from I guess the people who make and store the standards to publicize the new features of PDF?
Um, what is important is how the researcher wants to consume data.
Right.
And I made a comment earlier on that millennials and early career researchers perhaps aren't using have never used a printed book necessarily as in their research, because everything's online, but what they're seeing online is generally the PDF, which is an electronic version of the printed page.
Mm-hmm.
But increasingly, as we talked about in the earlier episode, that online content will create so much. There'll be so much more content.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's accessible via the PDF, all well and good, and of course it should be.
Mm-hmm.
But there is absolutely an important role in PDF in terms of the long-term archiving of content.
Yeah, the thing. I think you might relate to it. You probably have used Inago Read extensively. So the way to input research paper, Inago Read is our AI driven reading assistant. So you
Yeah,
can put in either DOIs or upload your own PDFs. And when the older PDFs that are not quite machine readable, even our advanced AI platforms, which are very good at parsing content, sometimes fail. And this is what we do not want to have, because eventually
yeah.
everything has to be human and machine readable, and that's the reason why we are talking about
Yeah,
PDF.
but that the exception rather than the rule. To be fair, I mean, in most cases it is readable, and if it's not readable, then we've got tools that will make it readable.
Right, right. And talking about advancements in AI technology, Google has expanded its AI overviews, and it has introduced an AI mode. And I'll read out some of the points before I'll let you react, Tony. So, Google is rolling out Gemini 2.0 for AI overviews in the US. First of all, it's only in the US. So, if you are looking for it, you won't get it because you are from the UK and I'm in India. And it starts with coding, advanced math, and multimodal queries. So when you are asking such queries, it will switch to this to provide an AI overview. And the AI overviews are now available for teens. And I don't know how Google is capturing the age for teenagers without needing a sign in, which is, I would say, there are positives and negatives. And finally, Google has a new experiment called AI mode. I'm just going to, this AI mode experiment research. It enhances AI overviews with advanced reasoning and multimodal capabilities, and AI mode helps answer complex multi-part questions with AI-powered responses and follow-up links. Basically, the same experience that you kind of would have had on a Gemini chat interface, it'll now be available, I believe, in the search interface as well.
Wow.
So that is going to change the way we interact. I still know people and in my friend circles who just simply rely on the first hit of a Google search to find the right information, which
I
is
think that's the vast majority of users. That's why people pay large sums of money for their sponsored ad to appear, the sponsored link to appear at the top of the list.
right. And this also highlights, I mean, I know that Google is doing obviously for business interest, and eventually this will provide some sort of a use, but people need to be educated. And from the context of science communication and academic research, fact checking becomes even more important because it's even less likely that a regular user will find the right information, which is again highlighting the need for
Yeah,
academic
yeah,
integrity and
yeah.
ensuring the robustness of published science. So, worried about these kind of news articles from big companies like Google, but let's see what we can
I
do.
look forward to seeing it once it gets rolled out worldwide.
Yeah.
I'll definitely use it.
Right. And the last one, it's a quick story. So Overleaf has published this update. Managing citations and bibliographies in Overleaf just got easier. So it is now integrating with Papers, a reference manager, which is now available, joining Zotero and Mendeley. And the new workflow enables dynamic management of .bib files, allowing collaborators to edit directly. So it's basically improving the systems. Not much of a news item, but still something to keep an eye on if suppose you're interested in reference
Yeah.
management systems.
Well, I think if you're doing any kind of research, you need a reference manager. When you're writing your research content, you need to manage your references properly, and this is another option for that researcher, in addition to Zotero, Mendeley, and the many other reference manager tools that are out there.
Right, right. All right, so that brings us to the end of episode 49. Come together right now. You should come together right now to check out our YouTube channel where we publish all our podcasts, all the F49 podcasts. And if you are watching it on the channel, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification icon. And if you like the titles that we talk about, I think, Tony, you got some feedback saying that our content is entertaining, and especially
I did. I was speaking to a publisher only yesterday at the London Book Fair, for example, earlier less than much, recently at the London Book Fair. Um, Found this and how interesting he's found it. So
yeah.
we create this content for people like him and for others that watch this podcast.
Right, right. And Tony, how can people find us? Me, the brand, and write to us.
Okay, well, you can find me on LinkedIn. Just search Tony O'Rourke on LinkedIn. You can find KK on LinkedIn also. You can contact me directly at tonyo@anago.com. And if you're interested in watching all the previous 48 episodes of PubShorts, you can find them on YouTube. Just search for the Inago PubShorts channel, and all 48 episodes are available for you to share, like, click, comment on, and do whatever you like. But please do watch them, and please do share your thoughts and feedback.
Yes, and I believe that you also promote your own personal musical gigs where you are the guitar player and your bands and everything on social media, right? Tony, you have a gig coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, I have got a gig coming up. Yeah, I'm in several folk bands live and in the UK, and one of the bands is we play Irish music, Irish traditional music, and we're doing this weekend to celebrate St. Patrick's Day.
And are you playing an acoustic guitar?
I'm playing an acoustic guitar, a mandolin, and what's called the Irish bouzouki.
Wow, at least I would love to see some of the clips from it. Please share with us, and please, if suppose you're interested, you can also promote it.
The clips are available. There are clips are available on Facebook and on YouTube as well.
Yeah. All right. Wishing you a very, very successful gig. Break a leg, do not break instrument. That's
break an arm.
Yeah. Okay. Something of that sort. And that again, once again, that brings us to the end of episode 49. Come together right now, and on behalf of Tony and the team that supports us in bringing such content. This is Dr. KK signing off. We will see you in the next one. Bye, Tony.
Yeah. See you next time.